Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to this martial law rule and in opposition to this outrageous process that continues to plague the United States House of Representatives. We have before us a martial law rule that allows the leadership to once again ignore the rules of the House, their own rules of the House, and the procedures and traditions of this House. Martial law is no way to run a democracy, no matter what your ideology and no matter what your party affiliation. Mr. Speaker, I strongly agree with these words, but I cannot in good faith take credit for them because I did not write them. I simply just read them. My staff did not write them, nor did any of the Republican staff on the Rules Committee. In fact, as far as I know, not one Republican had any hand in the composition of this eloquent defense of democracy in the House of Representatives, because their author is actually the gentleman from Massachusetts and a senior member of the Democrat Rules Committee, the gentleman, Mr. McGovern. He spoke these exact same words on the floor 2 years ago regarding what he eloquently and accurately called a martial law rule, which is what we're being asked to consider here today. Although these are not my words, I associate myself with them fully because they are as true and relevant today as they were when they were first used. And since I have already borrowed one selection of the gentleman's words, I would like to point out another comment that my esteemed Rules Committee colleague made regarding martial law rules. On December 6, 2006, just a month before they were to take control of the House of Representatives, Democrats made a number of promises about how they would run the House, which unfortunately have not held up well in the contrast to reality. Before they had control, Mr. McGovern said, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, there is a better way to run this body. The truth, Mr. Speaker, is that the American people expect and deserve better. That's why the 110th Congress must be different. I believe we need to rediscover openness and fairness in the House. We must insist on full and fair debate on the issues that come to this body." Well, I'd like to ask my friends on the Democrat Rules Committee and this Democratic leadership, what happened? What happened? Where is that openness and the fairness? Where was the openness on the no energy bill rule, where over 90 amendments were closed out, including a Republican substitute? Where was that openness when we first considered S-chip reauthorization and we were handed 2 closed rules by the Democrat leadership? Where has it been over these last 2 years when Democrats have forced a record number of lockdown closed rules through this House of Representatives with no opportunity for members, Republicans or Democrats, to improve that legislation? And where is that openness today when we're being asked to consider this tax extenders rule by once again suspending regular order in this House of Representatives? I know where it is. Our friends the Democrats left it out on the campaign trail. And with an upcoming election, I suspect that that's where we're going to be able to find these broken promises once again this next January. It was an empty promise when they made it. And the emptiness of this promise was fulfilled on the opening day of the new majority when the Democrats wrote into the rules of the House closed rules for considerations of the first 6 bills that they were able to take up, in effect discharging the Rules Committee from its duties for the first 6 bills they were going to consider. Yes, 6 and 06. The remedy for examples of unfairness, they said that they criticized the Rules Committee for the way they did their work. And that trend has started, sadly, and continues today. As the gentleman, Mr. McGovern from Massachusetts said, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, there is a better way to run this body. The truth, Mr. Speaker, is that the American people expect and deserve better. That is why the 110th Congress must be different. I believe we need to rediscover openness and fairness in this House. We must insist on full and fair debate on the issues that come before this body. Mr. Speaker, with these wise words, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Texas reserves the balance of